So let's play around that formula with some examples to give you an understanding of this thing. Let's say the question might give you information saying that there are 5 students in a class and each student scored like 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50 respectively in an exam. The question is asking me find the average score, which is what we have done just in the previous slide, right? So there are 5 students in the class. The average score of the class is, I just need to sum up all the scores, 10 plus 20 plus 30 plus 40 plus 50, and there are 5 students in the class. That will be 150 by 5, that's 30. So they have given us individual values so that I can calculate the sum of all values. I also know the number of students in the class, which would help me to find out the average score. Let's look at slight tweak of the same piece of information. Let's say the information that I know is this: the average score of 5 students in an exam is 30 and scores of 4 students is 10, 20, 30 and 40. I don't know the score of the 5th student, which is what I need to find out. So whenever you see this piece of information, the average score of some number of people, average of some number of people is so and so, immediately what I should think of is this: average is sum of all values by the number of values. I know the average is 30 and I know the number of values is 5. So sum of all values should be average into the number of people. So that is 30 into 5 is 150. So that's the information I can derive from this. So there are 5 students and the average score is 30, then immediately understand that the sum of scores of all 5 students should be 150. But I cannot comment on individual scores with just this piece of information. But there is another clue given. They're saying the scores of 4 students is 10, 20, 30 and 40. So sum of all values is 150, which is basically score of student 1, student 2 plus student 3 plus student 4, and I don't know student 5 score, so let me put it as S5. So which would give me S5 as, this will sum up to 30, 30, 60, 40, 100. That goes that side. So 150 minus 100 is 50. So that's the score of the 5th student. You see, in this case, I know the average score, I know the number of people, but I don't know the sum of values, which I found out first using the formula. Once I know the sum of all values, I could find out the individual scores based on the additional clue they have given. Let's look at the same question with a different piece of information given. Sum of scores of all students in a class is 150. So they gave that sum of all values is 150 and the average score is 30. They are asking me to find the number of students in the class. So average is sum by the number of students. So which is basically 30 is equals to 150 by n. So 35, so that gives me the number of students as 5. So I've used the same piece of information, but I am like same scenario, rather same data, but I've given it in a different format in all these 3 cases to show how the same formula, average is equals to sum by number of values, can be used depending on what piece of information is given and what we need to find out.